Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and it is time for another Sunday night live stream show. Hopefully, you're ready for another great show tonight here inside Hubbard's Marina Studios. It is Sunday night, April 30th, and it's 7:30, and it's time to roll with that live stream show. Remember, every Sunday night, we're here live for that live stream fishing show called Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard. Hopefully you enjoy the show tonight. We've got some great stuff lined up for you guys. Got some photos to show you, some weather to go over, and, of course, talking fishing. Inshore, nearshore, and off, answering your questions live during the show, and giving away free stuff. So, who wants to win some free stuff tonight? Do you guys want to win some free stuff tonight? Hopefully you do. Hopefully you're excited for another great episode of tonight's live stream show. First things first, want to give a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle for making this show possible. Thank you, Gator Jim's Tackle. 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't checked them out yet, make sure you do so. Tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you, and you get a free gift for you and any young anglers with you. So check them out. Again, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. And tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. Also want to give a shout out to our supporters making the show and everything possible. If you're not a supporter, you can become one tonight. It's only $4.99 a month, and that's going to give you free access to our private supporters group. And you get a little bit more behind-the-scenes information, a little bit more communication, connectivity, and you get access to our private after show. After every live show, we have a little supporters after show. We go a little bit more in depth and answer more questions, and it's a good time. So think about becoming a supporter. It's only $4.99 a month, and it's a huge way to help fuel the show and support us. Speaking of that, also, of course, the star senders. A super huge shout out to all of those sending stars. That is another great way to help fuel and make the show possible. We had Katrina McDougal with 310 stars, and then another 50. Yukimi Barker with 500. Appreciate you. We had Nick Nieves with 2,400 so far. Jasmine White, thank you very much. Bobby Marie, Nick Wyatt, Katrina McDougal again, and then Richard Blazak. Appreciate you guys all for helping us out and helping fuel the show and make it possible. So I want to make sure we give some tips on how to win something. So have you been interested in winning some free fishing trips? Do you enjoy the Sunday night live stream show and you want a chance to win a 5-hour half day for 2 guests, a 10-hour all day for 2 guests, a 39-hour trip for 1, or how about that Hubbard's Marina swag pack? You got a chance to win if you comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. So all you have to do is comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream, and you're entered for a chance to win. So comment anything and everything on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. That's going to be what enters you for a chance to win during one of tonight's random giveaways. Now, make sure also, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment on YouTube as well. If you're watching on another Facebook page, like the Captain Dylan Hubbard page, the Real Animals page, make sure you like and comment there as well. But liking and commenting the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream is what enables you to have a chance at that random giveaway that we do throughout the trip or throughout the show. So also want to make sure we encourage you guys to share the video. If you're watching on Facebook, share it with your favorite fishing club, share it on your timeline, and do us a favor, guys. Each week, make sure you tell a friend about the live stream show. Tell a friend, grab someone, and be like, hey, I listened to this show Sunday night. It's pretty cool. You might enjoy it. You get a chance to win some free stuff, and we talk fishing, and he answers your questions live during the show. So Tell a friend for me. Bring one guest. You don't have to go out and tell the world or make a post or go screaming it on the mountaintops. Just tell one friend each week for me about the live stream show, and that would help exponentially over time to grow this live stream show. This is a big effort by Josh and myself each Sunday night to come and hang out and spend time with you guys, and we enjoy it thoroughly. We love it. We were talking before the show about how much joy we get out of it, but we want to keep it growing, right? So we want to see more viewers tick up each week, and with the addition of TikTok, we've really been getting close to almost 1,000 live viewers each Sunday night. So super excited about that, and the addition of TikTok, Trovo, Twitch. We're streaming to YouTube. We're streaming to multiple Facebook channels. So definitely getting the word out there, but we need your help too. So make sure you tell a friend, and hopefully next weekend it'll be you and a friend watching together, okay? Now, with that, let's get into some photos. Each week we show you photos of what we're catching now, and then we get into the weather, tell you what's going on now, what's coming up, and then we get into your questions. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, if you put it in the comments, that doesn't help. We don't see it. The comments get rolling too fast between everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Trovo, Twitch, all the different Facebook pages. Your comments go away really fast. So if you have a question that you want answered live during the show, you do have to text it to that phone number at the bottom of the screen, 727-393-1947. So make sure you text us at that phone number your full question, and we'll answer it live during the show. If you're picked as one of the lucky winners, make sure you save that phone number too, because you got to text us your full home address. So with that, let's get into photos and show you guys what we're catching. We're going to start inshore, and then we're going to work our way near shore and off. So let's see. First things first, some mangrove snapper. It's that time of year. The mangrove snapper are starting to return to the back bay waters. So it's exciting. We're seeing the sheep's head start to back off and the mangrove snapper start to show up. We're seeing a lot of redfish moving around the back bay right now, feeding really actively, especially around those dock lights and bridge lights. They've been going off. We had that new moon, then the first quarter moon. We're coming up on the full moon now, so nighttime fishing might be a little bit more tricky around artificial light sources, as those fish have a lot of light source from the moon at night, but they have been biting really well around dock lights and bridge lights at night. During the day, we're seeing them around grass flats, mangrove shorelines, oyster bars, all producing really well on some nice slobby redfish. We're seeing quite a few big girls moving out onto the beaches and in the passes. We're seeing some big ones in the back bay, as you can see here. Still some good opportunities at fat sheep's head. The sheep's head fishing still going really well for us around the area, but numbers have dwindled. We're seeing less concentrations of sheep's head. They're definitely a little less congregated. They're starting to thin out a little bit and start to retreat more to the back bay waters. We're starting to see more mangrove snapper taking over in those areas of sheep's head. Now, snook fishing has been going really well. We're seeing snook all over from the back bays to the beaches, and quite a few out on the beaches prior to this weather. The weather kind of slowed things down for us a little bit, but tomorrow it should start calming down pretty quickly. We're going to talk about the weather here in a minute, but snook fishing is going well. They're starting to stack up in the pass. I caught my first snook of the summer season about 3 or 4 days ago. I think it was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday behind last week's live show. Got a nice snook before I got a little sick last week. Was out for 3 days there, Tuesday through Thursday, but I did get a nice snook before that happened. And I was going for a big one, but they were finicky, and the snapper are so thick. You drop a real nice live shrimp in front of a big snook, and the snapper come up and try to grab your shrimp. So it makes it a little bit challenging, but found a hungry one. It just wasn't very big. So I got it back in the water quickly. It was only like maybe 26 inches, 27 inches. It was a little baby, but she was fun. It was a nice warm up. Some nice snook in the back protected bay waters all the way through, all the way to the beaches. This is my good friend Nolan I grew up with, went to high school with. This is his dad, Scott. This guy is a local legend. when it comes to beach snook fishing. Literally taught me everything I know about beach snook fishing. Nolan and I would chase him around the beach growing up and follow him, and he fishes from, Tarpon Springs basically all the way south. I won't tell you where, but pretty far south. I mean, he travels 2 to 3 hours sometimes to the snook beaches of West Florida, and he chases these fish around. He is definitely a magician on the beach, but he is sending us more photos and more reports, so we're super excited about that. He's been on the big snook. He's been seeing really big trout and some really solid pompano. The pompano have been after the live shrimp lately on the beach, which is kind of ironic. The big pompano, at least. We're seeing a lot of pompano, but mostly on jigs, and they're kind of average size. The big pompano have been wanting free-lined or nearly free-lined live shrimp. Some big snook action, some nice trout, solid trout around the area. So normally once the water starts warming up, the big trout get a little bit fewer and further between, but we've been seeing some solid big trout around, so that's been cool as well. So pretty good inshore action right now. And we're really looking forward to hopefully catching more of those inshore species as the water calms down and then clears up. And we're going to get into that here in a second. But before we do, we got to go through some nearshore photos with you. But before we get into the nearshore photos, want to make sure we give a shout out to some of the star senders that have been coming through. Edward Nellis, Ryan Kelly, Louis Canaveri with the big 550. Thank you, Louis. Richard Fonzo, John Bull, Keith White, Robert Riggs, Corey Chandler. Appreciate you guys all so much with the stars sending. I think I might have missed one early on, but they went a little fast for me. I think it was LaShonda. LaShonda was a stars sender with 200, I believe. So appreciate y'all. Robert Bush, see that. Thank you very much, my friend, as well. Seems like my the pop-out doesn't seem to be working too well tonight, which is frustrating. But, hey, we'll try to keep up in the comments and try to make sure I don't lose y'all. Never miss a Sunday. Thank you, Karen. We appreciate you. Let's see if my mouse is working. Is it not plugged in? There it goes. All right, so Samuel Lang. All right, so it is matching up. Katrina McDougall, thank you very much. All right, so let's get into nearshore photos and see what's going on there. Happy birthday, Katrina. We appreciate you and the stars you're sending tonight as well. Nice king mackerel. That's a little baby kingfish. I almost called it a mackerel, but that's a kingfish. You can tell by that big dip in the lateral line. That is a king mackerel, not a Spanish mackerel. But it almost tricked me. A little bit of a smaller kingfish. We're still seeing a few kingfish, but not very many. Definitely numbers have fallen off. King of the Beach had bad weather, but they ended up finding some big kingfish. The big winner of King of the Beach was 46.5 pounds, caught by Team Double Bird. Captain Kyle Applefield is actually a good buddy of mine. Grew up with him and his family. His dad, Corey Applefield, grew up fishing with my dad, so definitely a local kid. And what was really cool is, so Kyle Applefield, older brother, got first place with his fishing team, Double Bird. Second place was Team Deja Blue, which is Alex Applefield and his fishing team. So older brother, younger brother, first, second place in King of the Beach. Pretty awesome story and pretty cool. Both local fishermen, hardcore fishermen. So pretty cool to see it stay right here in Madeira Beach and kind of stay with the family. Some nice hogfish lately, definitely less hogfish as of late compared to the cooler months, but we're still catching a handful of hogfish, especially the 10-hour all days, the nearshore private charters. We're still seeing a handful of hogfish, not a ton, but a handful. Some big fat mangroves offshore. The mangrove snapper fishing has been going really well for us out deep. We're seeing some really, really good catches of mangrove snapper. This past weekend was one of the best mangrove snapper trips we've had in a really long time. The Tuesday trip did pretty well too, but definitely some really, really good action on the mangrove snapper lately. Seeing some really big ones as we fish deeper. Nearshore, we're still seeing some of those red grouper. The red grouper bites going pretty well. We're catching a handful here and there, not a ton of them, but you have a chance for those red grouper nearshore. Really, it's all about going offshore and finding the big red groupers like this guy here. The big red groupers are really predominant and more prolific offshore. We got to get out there to deeper water. 120, 140, 160 and beyond has really been producing the bigger red grouper for us. But we're seeing a few red grouper nearshore, just have to work a little harder to get through some undersized throwbacks before we find the keepers while fishing near shore. We are seeing some big blackfin tuna lately. This one from the Flying Hub 2 private charters. This one from a 39-hour fishing trip. We've, of course, seen some really big throwback gag groupers. Unfortunately, some monsters that we have to catch and release. But gag grouper season this year, remember, is going to be September 1st through November 10th. September 1st through November 10th for the gag grouper. But one good thing is we're seeing some nice scamp. The scamp grouper bite's been going well for us. We're seeing some nice scamp grouper out deep. So some big scamp mixed in with some keeper red grouper are holding us over while we're waiting for those gags to open up. Another solid picture of that scamp. Some big triggerfish, of course, always a welcome addition to the box. We've been seeing some pretty good numbers of those vermilion snapper. And most recent 39-hour got a big wahoo that Jared labeled as a kingfish. Oops. Wasn't supposed to say that on the live show, but hey, it happened. Nice big wahoo. Definitely was a welcome addition to that 39-hour trip. We've been seeing some good pelagic action. Blackfin tuna, wahoo. We've seen a couple kingfish. So it's a good time to get out there and go deep. And we're going to have some good opportunities here very shortly. So we're going to talk a little bit about the weather, show you guys what's going on now with the weather, what we have coming up, and then we're going to get into your questions. But before we get into the weather, we got to give away our first free trip of the night, right? So let's see, what are we going to give away first? Let's do our 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. That's a 10-hour all-day trip for 2. Let's see who the lucky winner is of the 10-hour all-day trip. Bridget Dawn, Bridget Dawn Carpenter, congratulations on that lucky win of that 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim that free trip. To prove you're watching live, you have to text us at that phone number at the bottom of the screen, your full home address, within 5 minutes or less to prove you're watching live. So text us at that phone number, 727-393-1947, to prove you're watching live and to claim your free trip. Now, I want to make sure we give a shout out to some of those stars senders. We had a few more there while we were finishing up. Sean Gossier, what's going on, my brother? 310 stars. Thank you, my friend. Christine and Pete, what's going on? Appreciate that. Nick Nieves with another 530 on the night. I think that brings them to around 3,000. Thank you, my friend. All right, with that, we're going to get right into the weather. Show you guys weather-wise what's going on now. So weather-wise, we're going to pop over to the Hubbard's Marina website, and underneath the fishing trips tab, we're going to scroll down to weather links. On the weather links page, we're going to hit the 5 and 10 hour forecast area for wind finder. And we're going to look closely at the top here real fast and see very easily that it's looking beautiful towards the second half of the work week. Absolutely gorgeous. It looks nice for the first half of the work week too, wind-wise. So Sunday, today, was brutal weather, especially in the morning. But it's calming down slowly. Winds dying off through the night. Tomorrow's going to be sunny. It's going to be blue skies. It's going to be real nice. A little dry, sunny, and 75, baby. But sea height's still going to be pretty high. It's going to be a 4.3 foot sea, but an 8-second period. So a big swell. We could have gone fishing tomorrow if we had the numbers of folks interested, but we only had a handful of folks interested. And on top of that, fishing is going to be tough tomorrow because the water's going to be really stirred up. But with a 4.3 foot sea and an 8-second period, that's doable. We could have gone out there. That big swell is doable. If it was 4.3 foot with a 4-second period, we would have had to cancel. It would have been too rough. But with the wave period more than double the sea height, that is going to give us the ability to get out there. But fishing right behind this bad weather, the water's going to be stirred up and it's going to be slow. So we're not going to go tomorrow. Tuesday is going to be our first day, and it's gorgeous. Less than 10-mile-an-hour winds, less than 2.5-foot seas. Wednesday is about the same, maybe 12 to 15 mile an hour and less than 2.5 foot. Thursday is calming down a little bit and getting nicer seas-wise. Friday is less than 1 foot. And Saturday is the same. And now even Sunday, too. So beautiful end of the work week and weekend. Really the best weather days coming up Friday, Saturday, right on and on the backside of that full moon. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, looking pretty good, but not perfect just because that wind is going to be up moderately. That sea is going to be up moderately. We have a chance for a little frontal boundary to potentially maybe impact the bite, but we're going to be right behind or right in front of a full moon, behind some bad weather. So I think we're going to have a pretty good bite of fish Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But better chance, best weather, best fishing opportunities, I think, second half of the work week, early weekend. So pretty awesome. And then on the front of news, we have a new baby dolphin in the area. We got manatees everywhere, and we got a new toy we want to show you. Josh, can you pull up the Hubbard's Marina YouTube channel, my friend? I knew there was a button on the website for that. I was looking for it today, and I couldn't find it. Joanna was like, is there a button on our website for our YouTube channel? And I couldn't find it. It's at the bottom, guys. It's at the bottom right side. I should have known better. So we got a new toy, and I want to show you our new toy. Look at this. We've got a 360-degree camera. So you can go on our YouTube and watch the new 360 camera, and you can literally, if you're watching on your phone, you just move your phone around, and it moves the camera lens. If you're watching on a computer, you can just click with your mouse and drag the screen and move it around. And you can watch wherever you want to watch. It's really cool. And I took it out to the jetty this morning and set it up in a rod holder next to the really rough surf, and just let it sit there and chill. So you can watch this if you so choose, and you can move your phone to wherever you want to view. It's really cool. And if you're on a computer, you can do the same thing and move it around however you see fit. And you can even zoom in if you want, or zoom out. So the new 360-degree camera, we're going to use this for sunrise shots. We're going to use this for some stuff going on around the jetty, some bad weather. We're talking about using it for some virtual tours of the boats. We're talking about using it for some other options too. So real excited about all the doors that are going to be opened with that new toy that we got purchased from Hubbard's Media. So some new stuff coming from Hubbard's Media. Plus, one last thing that we want to make sure we talk to you guys about is we've revamped our fishing reports. So if you haven't checked them out yet, I'm going to cut over to our website, and Josh can walk you through here real quick. It's under fishing trips, right, Josh? You can grow, or it's under info. It's under info. So under info, third one down, hit fishing reports, and that's going to bring you to our fishing reports page. You can click on your latest fishing report. They're sent out every Friday to those who have signed up for the email, but if you haven't signed up for the email, you can get it right on our website. Under info, hit fishing reports, then pick whatever date fishing report you want. We've revamped the layout to make it a lot cleaner, a lot cooler, and a lot more user-friendly. And you can scroll back to 2016. Look at that. So all the way back to 2016. Man, I've been writing these things for a long time. That's awesome. Josh has been posting them for a long time. So we've got videos in it this time. We've really put a lot of effort into increasing the coolness and the user utility of our fishing reports. So make sure you check those out. They're emailed out every Friday, typically late afternoon, just because it takes me a while to get them going. But they're really cool. So check out the fishing report. And then the other thing that we want to mention to you guys is going to be announced tomorrow. It's going to come out tomorrow, is voting for USA Today's top 10 boat tours in the world, top 10 fishing charters in the world. Hubbard's Marina has been nominated for both. So we have a chance to come in the top 10 boat tours in the entire world, voted by USA Today's team. So nominated by USA Today's team, voted by you. Voting opens May 1st and remains open through May 29th. So voting for that opens tomorrow. So we're going to be posting that on our Facebook pages. We're going to be sending some special emails out about it. Remember, you can vote once per day, every day, May 1st through May 29th. You have the chance to win. It's going to be, or you have the chance to help us win. It's going to be really cool and a great opportunity to help definitely reach more people. So we'd appreciate whatever help you can help with that. We also got nominated for the best of Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay's best of the best is launched. And if you just Google Tampa Bay best of the best, you can find the website and nominate us for whatever you want, like gift shop, seafood market, whatever you want to do. But Hubbard's Marina is already nominated for best fishing charter. So that voting is already open. So we're nominated for best of the best Tampa Bay, for best fishing charter, but you could also choose to nominate us for best seafood market, for best gift shop, for a variety of other things, best waterfront bar for a sunset cruise, or you can wait and tomorrow the USA Today voting opens up, and we really need your help for that, because I want to make sure we capitalize on that and clinch the top spot. I want to be the best fishing charter in the world. I want to be the best boat tour in the world. That would be super powerful, and I know we can do it. I'm confident that we are, and now we just need the votes to prove it. So appreciate your help with that. Craig Robinson, thanks for those stars. Stephen Batchelor, Larry White, thank you guys so much. With that, let's get into some of your questions. Remember, if you have a question, send it to that phone number on the bottom of the screen, 727-393-1947. We really appreciate any questions you might have. Someone asked, how do you vote? We're going to be posting it to our social media pages, so just stay tuned. Tomorrow, we're going to have the links up for USA Today voting. For Best of the Bay, you're also going to be able to just find it by just Googling Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay. Best of the Best, excuse me. So Google Best of the Best, Tampa Bay, and it will come up immediately. The USA Today voting is going to be a little bit more difficult to find. You're going to have to go to that link through our social media. Josh also mentioned it's going to be on our website as well. So when voting opens tomorrow, you'll be able to visit our website and see it and vote there. Someone asked, how do the stars work? The stars are just a way for people on Facebook to show their support. It kind of helps us fuel the show and makes more of what we do possible. It helps us to buy cool new toys like our 360-degree camera that we just purchased. We're actually in the middle of purchasing a new streaming computer. So if you don't know, we have two 24/7, 365 streams on YouTube. We stream the dock in bridge and sand accumulation, and we also stream on top of the parking garage. Josh is going to take us there while I talk about it. So he'll show you, right now we have 3 live streams up on YouTube because we're doing our show, but normally we just have the 2, but they're open 24/7. So this one is the dock. The dock camera shows us filleting fish. So when our boats are getting back from a half-day trip at 1 o'clock or 6 o'clock, or the 10 hours getting back at 5 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. You can watch us unload and cut fish. And then we also have the parking garage camera on top of the parking garage. This was going off this morning. Hopefully you guys know about this. Hopefully you watched it this morning because it was pretty cool to see. But those 2 live streams are going 24/7 on YouTube. And we're buying a new computer right now to help us live stream those even better. So really, really excited. So that's what the stars do, is they help fuel the show and make it possible for us to do cool things to help improve the show as well. Really, all the stars get reinvested back into the show and even more than that. But it's a lot of fun. How's the 12-hour extreme trips looking? So weather-wise, definitely looking like we have a good opportunity for some 12-hour extreme trips, maybe later work week. We normally run those Wednesday and Sunday, but if we have some availability, we might be able to stick some in occasionally when the weather allows. But right now, the Flying Hub 2 is currently out of service. The first 2 weeks of May, we are not offering the Flying Hub 2 12-hour extreme trips because Yamaha has so graciously sent us some Yamaha 425s, and it's time to put some new, fresh Yamaha motors on that boat. Get her ready for red snapper season and the long summertime grind of going deep and catching big fish. And then right behind summer, we've got gag grouper season. So gonna be a long, drawn-out fishing season, and because of that, we got to put some new shoes on the whip. So the Flying Hub 2 is currently out of the water, getting some brand new Yamaha engines equipped. So if you're looking for some Yamaha 425s with 1,800 hours on them, we will be selling the ones that are currently on the Flying Hub 2. If you're interested, get at us. Give us a shout. Jason, you can have the old Yamahas for a price. All right, let's see here. What are we working with? What other questions we have? How much for a 39-hour trip? It's $499. $499. Had to stretch it a little bit. It is a little difficult remembering all the different trips and iterations, but we got it. We got it. We also just sent you the link as well. On our website, we have the prices, the tackle, the how to pack, lots of videos. We actually are adding some new videos to the website right now. We took and filmed our little pre-boarding seminar and added more information to it. So normally when you come out fishing with us, we get you in the waiting area and we kind of go over our pre-boarding seminar, tell you kind of what to expect, how the boarding process works. And now we've recorded that seminar and put it all into an easy to digest video and added some more information to it as well. So makes it real easy and helps you to know even more about what you're getting yourselves into. And it's going to be added to the website here very shortly. Plus, the new 360-degree camera. We're going to be doing some virtual walkthroughs, so you're going to have some better ideas of kind of how the boat's laid out and all that good stuff, too. So I'm excited. I know no one has a crystal ball and can see the future, but how far in advance do you notice a trip for cancellation? I'm going to be taking vacation for the trip at the end of June, and we'll need a little notice. So I would keep in mind that offshore fishing is unfortunately just that, right? It's offshore fishing, and we're kind of indebted to and tied to the weather. And really, you only know the weather about 24 to 48 hours out with any real certainty, unless the weather's really bad. Like if there's a hurricane coming or something like that, sometimes we'll cancel trips 2 days out, 3 days out, but it's rare that we cancel trips more than 24 to 48 hours out. The 39-hour trips, like if a trip is leaving Friday, generally we try to cancel those 39-hour trips, like say Thursday night, trying to give as many people as much possible notice as possible, just because for those 39 hours and 44 hours, often people are traveling in 8, 10, 12, 15 hours to get here. So we try to give people as much lead time as possible. But for like 12-hour extreme trips, we're going to generally cancel those the afternoon before. 10-hour all days, 5-hour half days, typically the night before. We try to give as much notice as possible, but we also try to keep it as close to the trip departure as possible, because we don't want to cancel a trip and then the weather change and you be upset that we canceled on a nice weather day. And it's not good for anybody. We want to take you fishing more than you want to go fishing. Trust me. We want you to have a positive experience more than you do. Trust me as well. So it's one of those really difficult decisions that we don't do in a vacuum, and we definitely don't do well in advance, just because weather can fluctuate so much. So if you have to commit to taking vacation for a fishing trip, it's unfortunately one of those situations where take vacation and hope for the best, and if the weather's bad, then have a good plan B or just enjoy some vacation time. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's part of offshore fishing. Things can happen, weather can happen, last minute things can come up, but we really, really work hard to avoid that as best we can. Do you see any chance of red grouper might close earlier than expected? So red grouper are supposed to be open all year. So do I expect them to close earlier than the end of the year? 100%. They've closed earlier than the end of the year the last 2 years, and this year we're expecting them to close pretty early. So I just talked to someone recently, someone being a little birdie, and that little birdie told me that last year's Wave 4 data spiked really high landings. So Wave, how MRIP, or the Marine Recreational Information Program, works is they do 2-month waves. So Wave 1 is January and February. Wave 2 is March and April. Wave 3 would be May and June. Wave 4 would be July and August. So July and August saw a huge spike in red grouper and made us overrun the quota. So a lot of the conversation that's gone on is potentially, probably, a red grouper closure happening in June to prevent that Wave 4 spike in landings causing an overrun of the recreational red grouper quota again for the 3rd year in a row. So because of that, most likely we're going to see a red grouper closure announced pretty soon for sometime in June, is my guess. We're also going to see very soon, probably within a week, the announcements on our federal for-hire red snapper season. We're also going to hear FWC make their announcements about the private recreational red snapper season, which is going to create a huge headache for us, because a million people are going to call us saying, "You said red snapper's going to open June 1st, and FWC made an announcement. They don't open until June," whatever. Whatever the FWC chooses. Sometimes it's not June 1st. Sometimes the FWC's private recreational season will open a little later, and then they add some seasons later, or they add some weekends later in the fall. Regardless, the FWC announcement that often it says Governor DeSantis announces blah, blah, blah about red snapper, that has nothing to do with us and our season. Our season will be announced by NOAA's National Marine Fisheries Service and the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, and we'll announce it in our videos. We'll also do a video behind Governor DeSantis and FWC's announcement to remind you yet again that it has nothing to do with us, but that season will be different from ours. What the FWC private recreational season will be, I have no idea, as it fluctuates very drastically between years. I know, without a shadow of a doubt, our season will open June 1st. And I'm 99% confident it will end sometime around August 18th, 19th through 21st. So that's my guess. All right. So next question. How many red snapper can we catch on a 12-hour trip? You're allowed 2 red snapper per day, minimum of 16 inches, I believe. But you really shouldn't worry about the minimums, because hopefully you're getting big red snappers. We only get red snappers 12-hour extreme trips, 39-hour trips, 44-hour trips. Can't get them on a 12-hour night trip. Can't get them on a 10-hour. Let's go to that one above that one. Personal opinion. I like when people ask my personal opinion. On Yvette reels. Yvette makes a pretty good product. I personally wouldn't really opt for an Yvette reel. Accurate makes a pretty good reel. I like Accurate reels quite a bit. Accurate is a cool company. Accurate and Yvette really are both cool companies. So I would say an Yvette is a good product. I would go Accurate before I went Yvette, and I would really prefer Daiwa. Daiwa is my personal, if you're asking my personal opinion on reels, I would definitely prefer Daiwa. I would 100% stay away from Penn. They're garbage, hot garbage, and their customer service is worse. Daiwa is the best, in my opinion. Their customer service is the best. Their product is the best. They really supply a product that goes above and beyond what you expect. Like if they have a Daiwa reel is rated for 40 pounds of drag, really it's probably like 45 pounds of drag. Whereas other companies like says their reel is rated for 40 pounds of drag, really it's like 35 pounds of drag. So Daiwa provides a product that you can count on. Plus, if you buy a high-end Daiwa product like a Saltiga, they have a 5-year, no questions asked warranty, and they service that reel absolutely free for 5 years. All you have to do is cover the shipping. You can mail it to Daiwa. They mail it back 48 hours. Once they have it in hand, they process the reel and send it 2-day air back to you for 5 years. You can send it to them 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a year for 5 years, absolutely free. And they cost less than Shimano products. And it's mind-numbing that more people don't buy Daiwa products, but whatever. More for me. So I highly recommend Daiwa, especially their spinning reels. Their MQ line is just so powerful. They really have the best product and the best customer service in the game. Accurate's pretty darn good, though. Shimano, I like Shimano products, but they're very proud of the word Shimano, and they charge you thusly. So Shimano's a great product. It's just really high-end, and their customer service doesn't really match up to the product. So, like, if you go to a really nice high-end steak joint or a hotel and you spend a bunch of money on a steak or a hotel room, their customer service matches that expense. You get a really good experience and really great customer service because you're spending a lot of money. I feel like at Shimano, you spend a lot of money and then they're like, Whereas Daiwa, you spend a lot of money and you buy their high-end product line, they stand behind it. And they really offer some really cool incentives. So that's what I say. Let's get into our next giveaway. We're going to do our swag pack, our Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that swag pack. Charles Derrickson from Pinellas Park, local. Charles, we're going to mail you the swag pack. You can't come pick it up. That's caused a little bit of challenges. So we're going to mail you the swag pack. Let us know your home address and your shirt size so we can mail you out that swag pack. Congratulations, Charles, on the win. Remember, you got 5 minutes or less to claim it. Text us your full home address and your shirt size. Jasmine said, do Florida residents need a fishing license to fish off the bridge, beach, or jetties? Yes. So if you're fishing with us on a trip, you never have to get a fishing license. If you ever fish anywhere in Florida in salt water, and you pay for a trip, you don't need a fishing license. You're covered under the boat's license. And if anybody tells you otherwise, in saltwater in Florida, they are operating an illegal charter. So make sure you keep that in mind. You do not need a license while fishing with us. But if you're going to fish from the jetty, from the beach, from the bridge, yes, you 100% need a license, even as a Florida resident. But if you're over 65, under 16, you don't need a license as a Florida resident. Someone asked about the sargassum weed again. I'm not going to go into the whole pitch because we've talked about it twice in the last 4 weeks, pretty in-depth. It is impossible for us to have the sargassum weed in Central West Florida. It's impossible. So don't even concern yourself with it or think about it. Because of the hydrology of the Gulf of Mexico, it's impossible for the sargassum weed to affect our area. And Josh is already pulling up the map, so I'll just talk about it while he's pulling it up. Is the hydrology of the Gulf of Mexico makes it such that it's impossible for that sargassum weed to get to our area. It starts down here and kind of comes up in the current and goes into the Gulf of Mexico, and then gets caught in the loop current. Most of it ends up in Cuba, and then a lot of it gets into the Keys in southeast Florida. Jupiter is already a potty whole. I have friends that live in Jupiter, so I always like to talk smack about Jupiter, Florida. But that's really the mecca of the terrible wasteland of sargassum weed. So like Jupiter, Miami Beach, the Keys, that's who has to worry about sargassum. The hydrology of the Gulf of Mexico protects Central West Florida. We will not have a sargassum grass issue. And also keep in mind, the sargassum grass issue is, I think, a product of the media's, I guess they had a slow news day one day and someone brought it up and they're like, oh yeah, run with that. And then it kind of caught fire. And now it's been like making national news and people are talking about it. Keep in mind, this happens every year. In 2018, we actually had a much higher number and concentration of sargassum. So this is something that is totally natural, that happens every year, and people are freaking out about it this year, but it literally happens every year. That's like saying, oh my goodness, the manatees are coming back from the springs. Everybody, the manatees are coming back from the springs. We're all going to die. I just don't understand the outcry over something that we literally see every year. It's like, oh, spring is coming. Okay, spring is coming. It happens every year. We know seasons change. And every year we get an influx of sargassum weed. And every year it doesn't affect Tampa Bay. So don't worry about the sargassum weed. Can you bring your own live bait and have a live well on the 39-hour trip? You cannot bring your own live well on the 39-hour trip. We assign you a fishing spot when you make your reservation and a bunk spot. And guess what? Your fishing spot comes with your own personal live well built into the boat. It's right in the seat that runs along the benches on the outside of the vessel. If everybody brought their own live well, it would just be a nightmare. There'd be batteries and cords and a lot of errant electricity on a wet deck, and it's not safe, it's not smart, and it's a tripping hazard. So you can't bring your own live well, but you have your own personal live well already on the boat for you. It's waiting to be filled up. You can buy live bait from us and put our live bait that you purchased in your live well, or you're welcome to bring your own. So yes, you can bring your own live bait. No, you can't put them in your own live well on the boat. You can put them in ours though. Good question. So let's see, what other questions do we have? I know you said you don't like pen reels. I have a 6,000 spin fisher pen reel. What is a good rod for that reel? It's tough because I don't like the bigger spinning reels, because the biggest spinning reel I own is a 4,000 series reel, and I pair it up with our Bull Bay 20-pound class rod. I don't like bottom fishing with spinning reels because they don't give you the right leverage. The physics is wrong for a spinning reel. You can't put it on the rail to fight the fish. You're fighting the fish with one arm instead of your whole body. A conventional reel, you're fighting that fish with your whole body, and you're using your whole body to fight that fish. Whereas with the spinning reel, you're fighting that fish with one arm. And it just, the physics don't add up. So I don't like bottom fishing with spinning reels, so I don't get into what type of rods work really well for those bigger spinning reels. But I would suggest going to a tackle shop like Gator Gyms, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete, or one of the local ones near your house, and check them out. So if you want to shoot me where you live, I can point you out to the closer tackle shops near you and kind of point you in a little bit better of a direction on somebody or somewhere you can go who have those type of rods. We don't carry them, and I've never really been into them. So, I mean, I could tell you what brands to look for and that kind of thing, but I would rather point you in the direction of a good tackle shop, and they'll help you out. Does the Extreme go out as far as a 39-hour trip, and how much fishing time do you get? Yes, a 12-hour Extreme fishes the same areas as our 39 and 44-hour trip, and you get about anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of fishing time, depending on how far we run. Sometimes it's a 2-hour run, sometimes it's a 3-hour run, but you get about 6 to 8 hours fishing time, about 70 to 100 miles from Johns Pass, fishing similar areas that we fish on our 39 and 44-hour trips. The 12-hour Extreme is a great trip, gets you out really fast and back really fast, but it is a little bit of a faster ride on a smaller boat. So it can be a little bit more bumpy, and it also is a lot more weather prone. If it's 3.5 foot seas, there's a potential for maybe having to cancel that trip. Whereas on a 39-hour trip, you're not going to have to worry about cancellations at 3.5 foot. That's a nice weather trip. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Does the 12-hour Extreme do overnight trips? No. Because of the way that boat runs during snapper season, we run every day, all day, 12-hour trips back to back to back. It's impossible to run a 12-hour, then a 12-hour, then a 12-hour, then a 12-hour. So the boat has to take some time off. So we generally do 12 hours on, 12 hours off during red snapper season on the Flying Hub 2. Plus we have to fuel, and fueling that boat takes a while. And one 12-hour trip will empty that boat of fuel. That's why the cost is high, just because of how much fuel it burns. So we have to totally fuel the boat back up, which takes an hour, hour and a half behind a long trip. So it's easily 2 to 3 hours of work prepping and then cleaning the boat, if not 4 hours. So really a 12-hour trip is a 16-hour removal of the vessel's availability. So it would really only be available to do like maybe an 8-hour trip after that 12-hour at night, which is just not conducive. Plus, it beats up the crew. So we got to also balance that, right, and keep everybody's morale high through that long grind of summer. So we really mainly focus on daytime trips on the Flying Hub 2. All right, so we are getting towards the end. We got time for a few more questions, but we want to make sure we get our last giveaway, our last small giveaway before we get to our 39-hour giveaway. We're going to give away our 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. That is $84.99 a person for 2 people. So basically $170 value coming at you now. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Phil Batisto from St. Charles. Congratulations, Phil, on that lucky win. So make sure you text us within about 5 minutes to prove you're watching live. Send us your full home address, and we'll get that out to you in the mail. Phil, let's see what other questions we have here. Try to rip through some more before we get out there. 24 plus inches of snow in the upper peninsula of Michigan today. That's crazy. I hope you're staying warm up there, guys. I didn't realize that. So I was complaining. I wasn't complaining, but I was talking about how bad the weather was. And someone was like, yeah, well, it's snowing here. On a phone call this morning. And I was like, oh, forgot about that. Other places have to deal with that. So I feel bad for those of you dealing with snow. We've got new baby dolphins. We got sea turtle nesting season coming up. We got manatees around the area, crystal clear water, and great fishing going on. But we had a bad weather day today, so we had to take one for the team. Dates for red snapper season. We answered that one earlier. It's going to be June 1st through around August 19th-ish, we would guess. But again, it's going to be announced, finalized here in the next week, I would imagine. Probably this week coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if we got that announcement sometime Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's see, what other questions do we have? What is the conversion from knots to mile an hour again? So a knot is 1.15. So if you're going 10 miles an hour, you would multiply, or if you're going 10 knots, you would multiply by 1.15 to get the miles per hour. And the same thing at wind. So if they're calling 20 mile an hour winds or 20 knot winds, you would multiply by 1.15 to get the mile per hour. So like normally it's just a few more. So not basically 1.2. And that's the difference between a nautical mile and I think they call them imperial or standard miles. I don't know. I forget what they call the land miles, but a knot is a nautical mile. So they used to measure the speed of sailboats that way, and has to do with the latitude and longitude measurement of the globe and how the Earth is rounded, and that's why a knot is 1.15 compared to a mile per hour, which is obviously 1 mile per hour. So a little different for that reason. What size Daiwa reel do you recommend for a 10-hour trip? It depends on your model that you go with from Daiwa. There's the Daiwa Saltigas, there's the Daiwa Saltis, there's the Daiwa, what's the other ones? Totally blanked on it as soon as I started talking about them, but there's a few other ones. Sea Line, Daiwa Sea Line. And then there's a gold and black one that I'm blanking on, but whatever. There's a few different lines. So if you come by the shop, we have a bunch of them. I can point you in the right direction, or you can always check it out on the Daiwa USA website. They can show you the different lines of Daiwa reels. But as far as the size reel, so often, like if you're talking about Penn, Shimano, Accurate, Avette, Daiwa, Siegler, all the different brands, there's different sizes of reels now. Like back in the day, you used to be able to say 4/0, and everybody knew what a 4/0 reel was. You used to be able to say 6/0, and everybody knew what a standardized 6/0 reel was. The sizes were standardized, and that is not the case anymore. So what I always suggest doing is kind of look at drag rating. So for a 10-hour trip, you really want a drag rating of about 30 to 35 pounds of drag. Anything less than 30 pounds, you're getting a little light. 25 would be as light as you want to go. So something rated for 25, 30, or 35 pounds of drag is really where you want to be for a 10-hour trip, especially if you're fishing for some of those bigger red grouper dropping big baits, or going after a hogfish. You want some meat behind that reel for sure. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Yeah. Does Hubbard's sell any used reels? We don't sell any used reels at this time. We used to, but it was one of those things that didn't really move too fast, so we stopped selling used reels. Doesn't seem like we have a lot of questions. Is Dylan Hubbard bald? No, just short hair. It's very hot in Florida, so I short hair. But it does look kind of bald in the front because it's graying out on me. I am getting pretty gray, so I guess on camera it kind of looks balding, but that's a gray spot, not a bald spot. And then the sides are bald, I guess, but that's by design. My barber is a good one. So it looks bald, I guess. How is the Monster Stick rod on your website? The Monster Stick rod on our website is a solid glass blank, so it's a good meat stick for a big reel, for a big bait, for trolling. It's not something that you're going to really feel a snapper biting on. It's not super sensitive, but it works well as a meat stick, solid glass blank. Are you planning on going to deep water for gag grouper season? No, not really. Because in gag grouper season in the fall, the gags start coming in shallower. So September, we'd be fishing a little deeper. But come October, when the water starts cooling off, those gags start coming in. Normally, October, November, December, we're fishing 120, 130, sometimes even as shallow as 100 foot of water following those fish. One of our best gag grouper trips that I can remember in the last 5 years or so was in 100 foot of water. We found this knot of fish, and we got like 65, 70 keeper gags, and they were all in about, I would say, 100, 110 foot of water, pretty shallow. So we follow those fish as they come in and try to stay on top of them with communication. A lot of people are asking about the baby dolphin. The new baby dolphin's name is Arcadia, and we actually have a reel posted on our Facebook page right now where you can see baby Arcadia live and living color. So check out our Facebook page or our Hubbard's Marina. I believe it's up on Instagram as well. Should be up on TikTok hopefully tomorrow. And then we're going to be trying to do a better job of posting them to our YouTube channel as well. So stay tuned. More Arcadia baby dolphin videos are coming up. She, I believe, is coming up on her 2nd week birthday. I think she's like 10 to 12 days old now. Let's see, what other questions do we have? How come Frank doesn't do the show with you anymore? We miss you and your guests. But great job on the show. Yeah, we'll mix it up some and have some guests in here. We kind of got away from the guests as we tried to keep it a little bit more focused on you guys, because what happens when we have a guest in here is we rip through the photos, we rip through the weather, and then we talk to the guest. We don't really have as much of a chance for conversation, and this is a Q&A show. We're here to answer your questions live during the show, so it makes it a little bit trickier when we have a guest, because we start talking and the conversation goes well, and all of a sudden the show's over. It's interesting because we do the radio show, right? And during the radio show, we get callers. So if I have a good guest and we're having a good conversation, we almost don't get to have a conversation because people call in and we have to answer those calls. Whereas on this show, you guys don't call in, you text in your questions. So if we get into a really good conversation, it's sometimes easy to get carried away, and then we don't answer as many questions. Plus, we ran into some challenges trying to keep it a little bit more professional with some of our guests. So that was another reason why we stopped having guests, is just cleaning up the show. How is the lane and yellowtail bite going? So we've been seeing some pretty good lane snapper action near shore and in our shallower offshore waters. And we've been seeing some pretty solid yellowtails. And I'd imagine as we get into summertime, water starts warming up, we're going to see more and more of those yellowtails, especially as we fish deeper. We see quite a few pretty big yellowtails as well. So looking forward to it. The Hubbard's family recipe fish shirt, the Hellman's mayonnaise fish recipe shirt was asked about in one of the questions. That will be coming out hopefully this week. We have 2 brand new shirts right now. Our red snapper rub shirt, we redid that. Instead of being on a black shirt, it's on this really pretty olive green color. And we also have this new hogfish shirt. It's a hogfish skeleton with Hubbard's Marina kind of in a skeleton font. And then actually we have 3 new shirts. And then we have our Hubbard's Marina Great American Snapper shirt. So it's the gray snapper or white grunt with that American flag kind of look to it. And then it's on a like a dark blue with a light blue font. It's really pretty. So we have 3 new shirts in our shop right now, and that Hellman's Mayo shirt will be a 4th new shirt coming very shortly. So we have a bunch of new shirts that we should be launching onto our online store here for some upcoming show production promotion. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And it is about that time. We got to wrap her up and give away our 39-hour trip. But before we do, we want to make sure we remind you guys, we are going to be out at the Apollo Beach Fins Fishing Club Tuesday night. So if you enjoyed this virtual live show, you can join us in person Tuesday night, May 2nd at Fins Fishing Club. At 6 p.m., the party begins, and they're going to have a buffet. It's $15 if you're not a member. It's free if you are a member of Fins Fishing Club. That starts at 6. They're going to have raffles, giveaways, and then at 7 p.m. is when my seminar starts, my fishing conversation starts. So hopefully you can join us. That is, again, Tuesday, May 2nd at 7 p.m. So hopefully we'll see you out there at Fins Fishing Club for that. And then also want to give you guys a heads up. Unfortunately, some plans have been altered somewhat. So I am going out of town with my family for a short little family escape before it gets hot and red snapper season kicks off. I was supposed to not miss a show, but unfortunately something got changed around. So next weekend, May 7th, we will not have a live stream show. So we are taking a weekend off. Unfortunately, guys, May 7th, no live stream show, but we will resume May 14th. So just 1 week off, unfortunately, but I apologize for that, guys. Wasn't really planning on that, but unfortunately plans got altered out beyond our control. So I will miss 1 weekend of the live stream show, but it's a family vacation that is much needed and I feel somewhat deserved. So hopefully you guys can bear with me, and I'll miss you. Not this week. So this week will be normal, and we'll be doing all the normal stuff. But the week after, I will be somewhat radio silent outside of our supporters group, of course, which will be pumping all that out normally. But not the week of Mother's Day. The week following Mother's Day, I will be gone. So with that, this is our last giveaway for 2 weeks. We'll be back May 14th. And our last Supporters After Show. The Supporters After Show will kick off at 8:50. So hopefully you can join us for that Supporters After Show. If you're not a supporter, you can become one tonight. It's only $4.99. So think about it. Hopefully we'll see you in the Supporters Club. Let's see who the lucky winner is of our 39-hour trip. 39-hour trip for one lucky person is Jason Washnock. Congratulations, my friend. Appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you all for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. Thank you for making Final Friday special. Next Final Friday is May 26th. Don't miss out on the free crawfish and free beer. We'll see you there. We'll see you Tuesday, May 2nd at Finn's Fishing Club. And remember, no live stream show next week, but we'll be back May 14th. Y'all have a good night, a good week, and don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy.